This is the Dan Benjamin Hour for Tuesday, March 31st, 2015. And for those who've been watching online, it's a take two because we had no audio the first time. And this is the joy of experimenting with new media. Hi, Hattie Cook.
Always experimenting, and we figured out, and it's better now.
Yeah, everything's good now. So you know what? Let's do a little behind the baseball how I'm doing this.
Got it.
I'll explain people. I'll since we're doing it over, we want to do it right, and I'll tell people what goes on behind the scenes here. I use software called Wirecast to do the switching. When I say the switching, if you're watching this lovely program, and you should be watching it because it's the best way to do it, I can switch to different camera shots. So this is my first camera shot. Here's my second camera shot. Here's Hattie's. We have a big one of her table with her mystery friend over there. We've got a room shot. We've got a presenter so I can show you the news, stuff like that. We have, even when we have guests and things like that, look, there's our wide shot with guests on it. We get an on-the-phone shot that Hattie put together.
Mm-hmm.
We've got this one, which shows like someone who's not on the show today.
Because it's only just one.
We've got this that shows the people who are on the show today. Lots of different stuff. So if you're listening on audio, you can't see any of this, but that's all right because it's an audio show first, a video show second. It's behind the scenes. But I use this software called Wirecast running on a Mac Pro to do it. But as many people who listen to the podcast method, another show I do, know, when you're doing video and audio, they're frequently a little bit out of sync. The audio usually comes in first, and you've got to slow it down a little bit to make it sync up perfectly with the video. There's a feature in Wirecast that's supposed to let you do this. It's broken. I filed a bug report. They acknowledge that it is broken. They say it'll be in an upcoming version. No ETA on when that comes out, however. So in order to get around that, I run software called Audio Hijack. You can do this with Audio Hijack Pro. I'm doing it now with Audio Hijack 3, which is a wonderful application. Perhaps you could put that into the show notes.
Audio Hijack 3.
Audio Hijack 3. And Audio Hijack 3, basically it does a whole lot of potentially cool and complicated things. But what I use it to do in this particular situation is I just have a little filter on there called AU Delay, which is an Apple filter that lets you slow things down. And I send that audio to a special application that is called like Audio System Siphon, Audio Siphon or something. Sound Siphon, that's the name of it. And I send the audio that has been slowed down to Sound Siphon, which shows up as an audio device that I can then select in Wirecast Pro as the audio input, which gives us the perfectly and beautifully synced audio that hopefully you hear and see with our amazing images that we're sending you right now. So if you forget to click the record button in Audio Hijack when you're setting up the show, Hattie, producer,
didn't know about that.
There will be no audio with the video signal at all. So that's why there wasn't any. For the people who were tuning in live, crying to us in the chat room that things were terrible. And that's the end of this. You know what, Hattie? Hattie and I are working on some little jingles, some little songs.
Yes, we are.
And one of Hattie's many talents is she is a trained opera singer.
Yep.
And she sings interestingly, for a woman, she is a tenor when she sings opera. So we're working on some jingles. One of them I'm going to write down is Inside Baseball. Inside Baseball will be one of the
I love that.
The jingles that you'll be recording for us later today. We do have some guests, even though Jeff Veen, unfortunately, had to cancel today. He's rescheduling. But that's what happens when you're a superstar, super rock star out in the Silicon Valley area. Someone calls you to do something and you must go. And that's okay. Well, I understand that. I'm not angry about that. I'm thrilled that he'll ever be on the show. Because I like him. He's a superstar.
We can't wait. Just whenever
so
we can do it.
To fill in for him, we've got, who do we have on today's show?
Liz Furl and Sarah Stewart from the Getting There podcast.
I feel like you're not centered in your shot anymore.
I moved over. I'm not sure
you don't have
why.
to move anywhere. I'll move you back.
No, I'm saying I think I shifted.
That's all right. You can shift. I'm going to do something
live on here.
Boom. See?
There I am.
Better. So Liz Furl and Sarah will do a little show here on 5x5 called Getting There. They had to change the name because they were getting legal. They were being contacted over legal channels. Speaking of legal channels, Jay-Z has relaunched Tidal, which is this online streaming service that he acquired. with music's biggest artists as his co-owners. So what that means is people like Coldplay, Rihanna, Daft Punk, Alicia Keys, Calvin Harris, Jack White, Madonna, Usher, Arcade Fire, Deadmau5 is in there. That's not what I want to do. And Beyonce, Bey, as I call her,
Bay.
are owners. And he apparently offered millions of dollars in an equity stake to artists who would join him in this. And was that picture that we're looking at now? This video, was that the meeting the other day?
Yes. So like, can you picture
so like
that
Daft
round?
Punk
Yeah.
in his Daft Punk outfit.
I love it. I think it's awesome.
If that was my stage outfit, I'd wear that at home.
Yeah, I'd wear that all the time.
He's like Darth Vader in that thing. He's better. Anyway, this is the thing. They're going directly up against Spotify. And those companies offer the music, like Spotify, offer music for free. You can sign up and pay for it. But they're for free, and then you hear ads in them. But Tidal is going to pay double the standard streaming royalties, and they are sort of saying they're calling themselves United Artists for the streaming era. And instead of doing those ads, you are going to be you're going to be paying as a listener. You're going to pay $9.99 for standard definition audio, which pays the standard royalty rates, and then double the royalties get paid when customers sign up for the $19.99 plan. A lot of people are poo-pooing this, saying that's way too much. How do you have a regular Spotify? I have a regular.
I think what is it? It's $8 for the regular and then $10 for the pro account
on
or something?
Spotify, it's free and you listen to the ads, or $10.
Or
That's
$10.
it.
Okay,
There's
10.
nothing in between.
I was thinking of 8 for something else, but yeah, I pay for the $10.
I pay for that too.
It's worth it. It's pretty much the only place that I listen to music.
Yeah,
now.
I'm gonna listen to it. And okay, so we have our purple leg shot, purple cam back.
Purple
I'm gonna make a
cam.
note about that. Purple camera. People have noticed that Hattie's legs are purple. And in real life, they're a little bit less purple than you're seeing them right now.
But they're still purple because I'm so cold and pale.
What we have is we have a GoPro Hero 4. And before the show, we were trying to switch this thing around to see if we could color balance her legs. But it made everything look
too drastic.
It made everything look terrible.
Yeah, one kind of was a sepia tone across the whole thing, which was not good. The other one was just everything was really, really, really orange.
Yeah.
Not good. And the other one was severely purple. Like, if you thought it couldn't get more purple than this, it does.
You know, your legs don't really look. Hold on, I'm doing a zoom shot to see if the legs look as purple if it's zoomed in. Yeah.
Yep.
Still very purple. So you're not really that purple in real life. So sorry to the people watching at home who are concerned about Hattie. She seems healthy.
And my blood flow.
You don't.
This is my natural tone.
You seem okay.
Yeah,
you seem all right in real life.
My health is not bad.
Anyway, I could have played the Inside Baseball music.
Yep.
If we had it. Anyway, Jay-Z, good luck to Jay-Z. And I think Jay-Z should come on the show and talk about this. And again, between you and Greg,
we're at war.
At war to get him. I don't believe either of you have contacted him at all.
I think we're both scared.
Do you think that he has, and listeners, I'm asking you, do you think that he has a chance at all? A chance in H, since it's a PG, it's a G-rated
You could do the
show.
double hockey sticks.
A chance in H to take on Beats and Spotify. I even with those guys, the big people owning it, unless they pull all of their content, unless he can get all the big artists, all the big artists.
But who wouldn't go with Jay? I mean, look at his lineup.
It's a good line. No, it's a good lineup. But if there's not money in it,
I want to do like a fantasy, not football, but I want to do like a fantasy music streaming service team. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Choose.
I don't know. I don't know. We'll see where all this goes. It's too crazy right now. It's too crazy. I've got only one more link today. That's it.
And then we get guests.
WhatsApp for Android. This is the app that you prefer to use, right, Hattie, for all of your chatting?
No. I don't know. I downloaded all of the chatting apps when we were talking about which one came out. I think we were talking about
security and chatting. And
Yeah, and I think we just went out and we downloaded all of them, but that one's not my go-to.
WhatsApp for Android, you can make voice calls, and that feature will be in iOS very, very soon. It's really interesting to me when I think about voice calling and how everybody that I talk to says that they don't do voice calls anymore. They don't use their phone to do voice calls. And I'm a weirdo because I do phone calls on my phone all the time. And all of these chatting apps are actually coming out with voice calls in them. I don't personally, we use Skype here all the time, but I don't personally trust Skype at all. And if there was something else that we could use for our podcasts instead of Skype, I would use that for sure.
Okay.
If it brought the quality up. But right now the quality is not there in anything else. And of course, these are apps. You don't run apps on computers and have them hooked up that way. So who knows? Who knows where the future will be of these applications? And I'm curious to know. Hit me up on Twitter at Dan Benjamin. Let me know. Do you do voice calling with an app? Are you using WhatsApp, or are you using these other ones to do voice calls, or are you just calling someone normally? And where's Google Voice in all this?
Right.
Theirs is pretty complicated. If you want to do a call with Google Voice, it'll call you and then connect the call
Right.
through your thing.
It seems kind of contrived, and calling out, you can't use your Google Voice number,
you
but you can
but it
accept
routes
calls.
it. You call. Okay, so what happens is if you're going to want to do an outbound call with Google Voice, you type in the number that you want to dial. Google Voice, that will be sent to Google Voice. Google Voice will then call your phone, and it's almost like it's enacting a three-way call, so that the number looks like it's coming from your Google Voice phone. But that Burner app is a way better way to do that.
Oh
kind
yeah,
of thing.
yeah, way
Burners,
better. I'm working with him.
We got to get them as a sponsor.
Yep.
I don't want to talk about them too much because I want them to pay really good money to be sponsor on the number one show on the internet. But Burner is a great app. We need to do another, the next time that we go to lunch, I think we need to do another Periscope.
Yeah,
I was thinking
so
of doing
fun.
that. I don't know if I should say this, but tomorrow, my plan, if the weather holds, it could rain.
Yeah, Wednesday is supposed 50% chance.
If it does not rain, or if it doesn't rain bad, then I want to go to Micklethwaite's tomorrow.
I would love that.
Right after Amplified is done. I want you to be ready with your bag, your purse, or whatever crap, and be ready to go right out the, like I say, all right, Jim, have a go. Boom. And like out the door, because otherwise they're going to run out of sausage.
Right. I'll already be.
They run out of sausage. They run out of everything. The pork shoulder or whatever that is.
I like that pork shoulder. It's good.
All right. There's just not that much news today, but that's all right. This isn't a news show. It's not about news. It's about everything but news. And let me do a quick sponsor, and then we'll get Liz on there. And I'll do a marker for you, honey. Sure.
Thank you.
Our first sponsor today is Wealthfront. I'm getting into this, and I know, Hattie, you've been starting to take over your investment stuff, control over your own wealth, and I want to control my wealth. And the way that the wealth happens is you get wealth, and then you want to do something with it. You can't just leave it in a bank account. That's a sin. And if you're young and earning money, like you've thought, I should be investing this for my future, right? Because what's going to happen is you're going to blink your eyes, and in 15 minutes, you're going to be like 35 years old, and you're going to be like, wow, where's all my money? I didn't invest. I didn't do anything right with it. You're not sure how to begin. If you're a little bit older, you're starting to think, you know what? I'm aware that one day I may need to retire, and I want to invest in the right way to prepare for that. So Wealthfront can help you with all of this stuff. But instead of the traditional route where you're going to sit on the phone for people for hours and hours, or go into an in-person meeting to talk to people about what you think you want, guess what? We have computers now, and we have really good software. And Wealthfront has this software that you go and you answer a few questions. They determine your risk tolerance, like how aggressive do you want to invest. You can set that. And then they have people who are there who are going to be constantly rebalancing your portfolio, reinvesting your dividends, and it's all commission-free. They monitor all of this stuff and make it as easy as possible, and it's all happens on the website, which is amazing. You get this really cool dashboard, and they only charge 0.25%. 25% per year, which is a quarter the cost of a traditional investment advisor. No commissions, no hidden costs. So go to wealthfront.com/5x5, wealthfront.com/5x5, and you'll get your first $10,000 managed for free. And then they have this disclaimer they want me to read. I haven't been practicing this. Do you want to read the disclaimer? Do you want to try reading
Sure.
it like fast? Are you up for this?
I'm up for it.
All right, here's the disclaimer. There's a legal disclaimer that Hattie's going to read. Read it quiet and fast in that voice. Really fast. And if you mess up, I'm taking it back.
Hola. Wealthfront Inc. is an SEC registered.
All right, give it back. Give it back.
I've never read that before.
Neither had I until yesterday. Well, Wealthfront Inc. is an SEC registered investment advisor, brokerage servicer offered through Wealthfront Brokerage Corporation, member FINRA and SIPC. This is not a solicitation to buy or sell securities. Investing in securities involves risk, and there is possibility of losing money. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. Please visit wealthfront.com to read the full disclosure. Thanks very much to Wealthfront. Wealthfront.com/5. Imagine the litigiousness of the United States of America. That they have to have this warning on there so that they don't get in trouble with like the SEC or something. I have to read this to keep them from getting sued. And then if I don't read it, they'll sue me.
Yep.
Liz.
Liz
You want to get
and
Liz?
Sarah.
You want to get Liz? I'll get her. We're getting both of them on the show today. Look at that.
Of course.
Who's who down there, Hattie? You set this shot up.
Liz is on the right and Sarah is on the left.
That's what I thought. But if you get that wrong, oof. Get them both on here.
Hello.
Hi. Hang on a second. We're getting your co-host on.
Hi, Dan. Hi, Hattie.
Hi.
Hello.
So welcome to the show, Liz. Welcome to the show, Sarah. Who's who? Let's get your voices because there's a lot of people who just listen to the show. So hi, Liz. Hi, Liz.
Hi, Dan.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Sarah, are you with us also?
I am.
Hi,
I'm
Sarah.
Sarah.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. Is this early for you guys? Aren't you on like East Coast time?
It's 11:30.
Oh, that's late for you. Are you just getting you sound like you're just starting your day right now.
There's still coffee involved.
Yeah.
I've got my tea.
doesn't-
I'm all set.
What a luxury that must be. Hattie, you wake up, I think, kind of late.
6:30?
Yeah, it seems late.
No, it's not late. That's deathly early.
When you have kids, you don't get to choose when you wake up. And I'm awake whenever the screaming begins. And they're screaming. I remember John Syracuse used to say, "Oh, Dan, there's always screaming." And I'm like, "Why would there be screaming?" He's like, "There's just screaming." I'm like, "What kind of weird kids do you have?"
And then
But no, the reality is there's just screaming all the time. Screaming. Did you guys scream when you were kids? I mean, was that a normal thing for you to scream when you were kids?
I was not colicky at all. I remember my mom.
Not
actually
colicky. My
mentioned
kids are almost 4 and 7. There's no colic. There's just screaming. How do you met my kids?
yes, they do like to scream.
Just I don't know
think
why
I
they
was a
do it.
screaming kid.
They're just screaming.
I was very quiet as a child. I didn't really speak until
told
like
me
the
you didn't
fourth
speak,
grade.
yeah,
Not
until you were
really. Like,
older.
of course I spoke, but I didn't like talking really. I just didn't. But then after fourth grade, it
That's
hit.
nonstop.
Now I'm on this thing.
Nonstop. So you guys have a show, an amazing show, that is called Getting There. What is that show all about? What is it that you are doing on this
It's
show?
really all in the title, I think. We're trying to navigate through our 20s and help other people navigate through whatever decade they might be in. Because turns out most people are lost in various aspects of their life, no matter how old they are, which is a trick I've learned from doing this show.
Yeah.
And we talk about various things: jealousy, money, careers, friendships, relationships, and do not give advice, but try to impart some wisdom nonetheless.
Why no advice?
We're not
We
qualified.
don't, yeah, we don't want to be held to any of the advice that we give on the show.
What's wrong with giving a little bit of advice now and then? I don't know why that would be a problem. You know,
Well,
you can share your own experiences and what it
Well,
is
that's
that you
what we're
do.
doing, but also we're getting there. That's the title. We're not we're not accomplished adults yet. We don't feel like anyways. So us giving advice would kind of be rude, I think, to our listeners because we're just figuring out things along with them.
I love that. I love the premise for the show. I love the show itself, and I'm wondering when do you think you will be? When do you feel like you're an adult? Because you both are in your 20s, so we can say that you're in your 20s.
Mhm.
When because like when I was growing up, and I think I did this on sort of maybe too early.
Hmm.
I don't know, maybe it was too early. But like I had a home and was like married in my early mid 20s. And most of the people that I knew in my by the time I was in my mid 20s, most of us were married and owned homes and had jobs and had like the notion that we had some kind of a career, even though I think we were kidding ourselves. I was. But we, like that, we were, now my mom's generation, I didn't have kids until I was in my mid 30s. My mom's generation, she had me when she was like 26 and it was like late. That was like super late. People were like, what's wrong with you? Why are you waiting so long? She was 26 when I was born. And that was like, people were like, you're crazy.
My parents were in their 30s and 40s when they had me,
Yeah.
so I have older parents anyway, and
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed that.
Well, they're cool. Your parents are cool, but
They are cool.
I feel like now not being married in your 20s and certainly not having kids in your 20s is not a weird thing at all. Would you folks agree with that, or am I off base here in what I'm saying?
I would agree. I don't plan on having kids until I'm about 30, and I know that Liz doesn't plan on having kids at all.
And I think those are
True.
those are perfectly valid things nowadays. When I remember every single time I would see my mom, she'd be like, "Where are my grandkids?" Like every time, where are they? You guys have been married for a year or 3 or 5 or whatever it was. Where are my grandkids? But I like that it's changed. I like that people aren't like that. There's not that much pressure anymore. I feel like to have kids or to go and follow a certain pattern. I know plenty of people in their 20s who are, as we would say in my generation, you're acting like kids. You're in your 20s. You should know what you want to do. You should be on track to something. You should be working in a job. You should have this, that, and the other thing already. You shouldn't be, changing jobs and living in an apartment and doing, playing around all the time. But I don't think that's the case anymore. How do you
There's
shaking your head now?
definitely
Yeah, I think now people are much more focused on their careers and things like that.
You think it's career focused
before-
or not doing any? 'Cause I know people in their 20s and 30s who have no career. They have college degrees, but they
I
have
think
no
that-
career. They're working in like a gas station.
I think that
Not that that's
pressure
bad.
and that stress to settle down and figure everything out really fast is not so much there. I feel like everyone seems to move at their own pace now, and I think just the world is more accepting of everyone has their own path and everybody's moving at their own pace, and you can get married at 19 or you can get married at 45. It doesn't really matter. Like what's right for you is the best thing.
Sarah, do you agree with that?
So I still think the pressure from parents is there. I know that my dad has said to my sister and myself even like, all right, I'm ready for grandkids. When is
Mhm.
that going to happen?
Mhm. Is that
And I
fair? Is
mean,
that fair for them to say?
I know that he's just excited to have grandkids, so I think it's cute and I can look at it kind of objectively and I don't take his pressure as a serious thing, but I can understand how people can get worked up over that sort of thing. Um, but then like I look at myself when I was 23, I had a job out of college, I was engaged and I had a nice apartment and I kind of felt like an adult. Um, and now looking at myself, like, sure, I have some things that would make me feel like I have the criteria to fit the adult stereotype, but I still don't feel like I'm there. And that's sort of more of a mental thing than a physical thing with what you have, I feel like.
I'm trying to remember if there was a specific like day or time or age when all of a sudden I realized like, oh crap, like I'm a grown up, or I'm a, like not an adult, because like at 18 you're an adult. Like I think when I voted, when I was 18, or or right around that time, I remember going and voting and being like, I'm voting for a candidate that I believe in, and like I have opinions now, and I'm like entering into the world as a voter. Like this was something grown-ups do. Like I'm voting now. Like that was a big thing for me.
Yeah.
I remember going to the poll, and at the same time I remember feeling like, holy crap, like they trust me to like vote, like my vote's gonna get counted.
Like it counts, like I'm like a real person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I
and
remember that.
I could vote for something that might be stupid.
You could go in and just kind of cover up your eyes, and just and
Yeah.
just do whatever.
Yeah, whatever you want in that room. You take your pants off in the room and vote if you want. I know. I didn't. But like that's the thing, and that's when it kind of clicked for me that like grown-ups or adults, or whatever word you want to use for people who are responsible for their own actions, is like I always kind of held adults up to this higher standard, that like they were wise and like they knew things,
Like
and
one day I would be one of them.
yeah, and it wasn't so much like it wasn't so much that they were making like immune from making mistakes, as much as it really seemed to me like they somehow knew stuff that I didn't know, that I didn't exactly. I gotta take that. I keep clicking over to that shot of Sean from last week.
Oh,
in that
you
goofy
just move
avatar
that with his
I
hat.
keep clicking over with his hat on. But like it almost felt like, I was somehow like entering into this new world, and I realized these people don't know anything. They're doing the same thing that I'm doing, and my parents are not gods, and they're not deities, and they don't know everything, and all they do is go through their day. And this really hit me when I did have my first kid. It's like you just show up and do the best thing you can do every single day, and you're going to make a billion mistakes, and you're not going to have the answers, and you might never really have the answers. And if the one thing I've realized as I've gotten, out of my 20s was I now have a better idea of how much I really don't know, and the fact that many of my thoughts and opinions are just my thoughts and opinions. They're not necessarily right. Is that, do you get onto this topic on your show?
Yeah, we've definitely talked about it. And to give you a bit more context, if someone were to objectively ask me if I feel like an adult, not on this type of show, when I'm not being 100% honest with who I'm talking to, I would be like, yeah, and I'm an adult. I pay my bills. I take care of myself. I am an adult human being. But the point of our show, I feel like, is to be honest with our listeners and kind of let them relate to us by admitting when we feel insecure about certain things. I know that when I first started listening for specific podcasts that I could relate to, I was looking for a woman in her mid-20s who was honest with me. And when I didn't find that, that's what I wanted to put out there. So I understand having like mini events, like getting my first job definitely made me feel like a real adult.
Mm-hmm.
I had responsibilities and had to go to work and make money to pay the bills. But yeah, I'm just also trying to be honest with listeners who maybe are having problems with the fake it till you make it mentality. Like, yeah, that works. You just fake it till you make it. But I like admitting that sometimes I don't feel like an adult. Sometimes I still feel like I'm figuring things out.
For me, I mean, again, grandfather time, right? But like that doesn't it never changed for me. It never went to be like, oh, now I know what I'm doing, or I really don't. Like, I don't think that changes. And then all of a sudden you're like responsible for your children and your children's lives if you decide to have children. That now you're responsible in the decisions you make and the things that you say. Your kids are feeling the way you felt about your parents when you were a kid, that they are kind of all-knowing.
And they're chiseling everything you say into stone.
Oh, they'll never forget anything. They don't
well,
forget
and they'll
anything.
follow it for, as long as probably until they're 18 and go, oh, and realize what you realize,
Yeah.
and I can have my own opinions too.
Yeah. And I try and encourage my kids to have their own opinions. Not that that's that necessary about like what they want to eat or when they want to go to bed, but their own opinions about, it could be something funny. Like my kid will say, Dad, what's your favorite color? or I'll say, well, what's your favorite color? Oh, I think I like blue. What's your favorite color, Dad? And I'll say black. Well, yeah, I think my favorite color is black too. I'm like, no, it doesn't have to. You just said it was blue. He's like, well, actually, I kind of was thinking black. I'm like, you don't have to like what I like, I can like a different color than you.
Well, I think that's a much better way to be than, parents that like force their kids into like, I played soccer, so you're going to play soccer kind of thing. And
Yeah.
that like force their kids to like what they like.
Yeah.
So, I think that you have it much better.
I don't know. I'm always terrified that I'm going to say something or do something that will have some kind of lasting impact forever on their life. And that in 10 years, they'll be like, well, you told me this. I'm like, when? Oh, when I was 6. Oh, sorry, I ruined your life. So what else do you guys talk about on the show? Because I want more people to find out about it. And I think that that what you're doing is really unique and really interesting. And there are not a lot of people who are doing a show like this. But to be clear, it's not just for 20-somethings to listen to, even though you are both in your 20s.
Well, we actually decided to record separate episodes recently as kind of a solo get to know us day in the life sort of confessional project.
Nice.
So I just recorded mine yesterday, and I think Sarah's going to do hers today. So it'll be kind of a deeper dive into who we are, what we're going through, from breakfast to dinner and beyond, who we are, what we're aiming for. I know I talked about trying to change careers and working towards pivoting into more of a woman in tech role instead of being Miss Writer Girl.
Mm-hmm.
And just being really open and kind of apologizing for the emotionality that comes along with it, but also not being afraid to share that. I think that that's been our mission all along, is to say, we've made mistakes. We've done things that we're proud of. There's a lot of stuff that we still don't know, and we welcome any and all advice on those topics, even though we try not to give it. And basically just to have this feeling of camaraderie, support, and this feeling of, we're all going through these things no matter where we live, how old we are, men, women, whatever color your skin is. We're all the same in these categorical ways that make sense for all of us as we grow.
Well, I love that. And I love the premise of the whole show. And I love that you guys are really not following any kind of standard format for like, this is what a podcast is supposed to be, or this is what we should be talking about. And that's something that I think is really, really, really cool. And I would love for people to listen. So if they want to, they can go to 5by5.tv/getting there. One word, getting there. And they can hear, how many episodes have you guys done now? You're up into the 30s, right? I thought it was 30.
Nice.
So congratulations on that, and keep up the great work. And they can also follow you guys on Twitter. Liz, what's your Twitter if they want to follow you there?
It's at Liz Furl, LIZFURL.
Very cool. And Sarah, what is yours?
At Sarah Stewart Work, SARASTEW. ARTWORK. Sorry, I blanked on my name.
It's all right.
There.
No big deal. Well, listen, thank you both very much for being here, and look forward to having you back sometime soon. Keep up the great work over there.
Yeah,
thank you.
Dan.
Thanks.
And
Thanks for having us.
Sure thing.
Bye.
Bye.
Lovely people.
Yeah.
They're doing their own thing, and I kind of like that. It's fun. It's fun.
Yep.
There isn't a format that you have to follow.
No. That's, I think, the best thing about podcasting in general is you can do whatever you want.
You can do whatever you want.
There
And
might be
people
more
will listen, they won't listen, but
right.
experiment with it.
I
Push the envelope.
I think the thing that's always good to remember is there will always be somebody that likes what you're doing, and there will always be somebody that absolutely hates what you're doing. So just start there, and you'll feel better about everything that you're doing anyway.
Speaking of hating what you're doing, Hattie, I know it's a big commitment for you to
It's
be here
huge.
5
I
days
just hate it so much.
a week. But if you're stuck doing something that you hate doing, boy, do I have a recommendation for you.
Woohoo! Ooh, good segue.
Lynda, Lynda, lynda.com. In fact, there's a special URL that supports this show. What they did when we were setting this up, they said, listen, we understand that DBH is probably the greatest show of all time.
Right.
And would you allow us to sponsor it? And I said, yeah, of course, because you're the greatest website of all time.
Of course.
And so they made their website even better by adding the letters D, B, and H to the end of it.
Right.
So go to lynda.com/DBH, and you will get a 10-day free trial where you can watch over 3,000 on-demand video courses. It'll help you strengthen your own skills, business, technology, creative skills, growth hacking fundamentals. The other day, a friend of mine was like, I got to do my taxes. I said, lynda.com/DBH. There's a tax course there you can watch. It'll teach you how to do your taxes. Like they're hitting it. What does it mean when it says topography and in parentheses multiple? What does that mean? Because this is a G-rated show. What does that mean?
I would have to hold the read, but
okay. Is that a euphemism? Topography multiple. Foundations of color, paperless, Excel 2013. And of course, I'm still really, really into the video editing stuff there.
Oh, yeah.
I want to understand that. And audio stuff. You name it. You want to make a podcast, you want to write Ruby, go to lynda.com/DBH. And you can once you sign up, you can download these amazing videos to your iOS or Android device, watch them on your computer, watch them as many times as you want, access to everything in one flat rate, and a free 10-day trial, lynda.com/DBH. Thanks very much to them for supporting the best show on the internet. I would like to respond. I don't have maybe I can get the review. I want to do another jingle, Hattie.
okay.
The jingle that I want to do
Is what?
is bad reviews.
Oh, of the show.
Bad reviews.
I know the one you're talking about.
I read everything, Hattie.
I know you do.
Every single review,
Mhm.
every comment, every email, every tweet, literally everything. And I read it. And so I want to end the show with one of these reviews. By the way, we have 99 ratings. So not 99 reviews, 99 ratings.
How many written reviews?
How many written reviews?
Does it tell you that number? I don't think it does.
41 customer reviews of the show,
Oh, nice.
99 show ratings. I will tell you that about a quarter, maybe even a little more than a quarter of the show's listeners, if you will, are actually not listeners, they're viewers. So the video of this is popular. And many of you are watching it on YouTube and downloading it on the website. And I thank you for that because we put a lot of time and have a lot of fun. I think a lot of fun with the video. But here in iTunes, I got a two-star review. So right now, cue the bad reviews song.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
bad review.
Something like that. And this is by, I don't want to say who it's by. That's not necessary.
By Anonymous.
The title of the review is boring, 2 stars. Spends too much time bragging about the show. Slow moving, dead air. Too many ums and ahs, rather painful to listen to. And I'm clicking, it was not helpful to me. Okay.
First of all,
Go ahead.
We're not really saying, I mean, we are saying it's the best
It
show.
is the best show.
But I think this person maybe needs a little bit of humor in their life.
Right.
Just
There
a
is
little.
I'm only half joking when I say that it's the
Right.
best show on the internet. I mean, if I didn't believe that, I wouldn't be doing it.
Exactly.
But I think you're missing out on the jokes. But that's all right. You know what? I want to respond to that. So I've been working, after I read this, I've been working on saying fewer ums and ahs. And I would like to see,
I
after
think I
this
have
came in,
too.
after the last 2 episodes, I would like for someone to go through and write down the average number of ums and ahs that I said, not including the ones I'm saying right now. Go in and write those down and then compare them to the last 2 episodes.
Do you think they were
18
talking
and 17, 18.
about you or me?
And they were talking about me.
Okay.
Anything bad is about me. Anything good is about you. But now I need to go record with Merlin Mann. So thanks to everybody for tuning in today. I'm a minute late for Merlin. That's unprofessional, so I apologize. I got to go in there. But we will be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Central, 11 Eastern, and 8 Pacific. So we'll see you then, everyone. Thank you so much, and have a great one.